Hey guys, today we are looking at exercise 3G, powers of directed numbers. So previously we have looked at the square or cube or power of 4, so on and so forth, of whole positive integers. We've also looked at multiplying fractions, decimals, and negative numbers. Today we're going to take all of that and put those skills together. We can find the square or cube or power of 4, so on and so forth. So the power of any number, whether it be a negative, a decimal, or a fraction, using the same rules that we've covered in previous exercises. There's a few points on the screen now. We'll cover those as we go through the examples. So without further ado, we'll jump straight in. First example is negative 2 to the power of 4. So we'll start by writing this out in expanded form. It might be easier to visualize that way. If you'd like to skip this step, you are welcome to, but I will write it out step by step just to really show you what's going on. So we've got 4 negative 2's in the multiplication, and they are each multiplied by each other. We can deal with just the first half and then just the second half, and we'll get a much easier expression to deal with. So negative 2 times negative 2, we know that 2 times 2 is 4, and that 2 negatives make a positive, so we leave the answer as a positive. Same on the other side, negative 2 times negative 2 is just 4. Finally, 4 times 4 is 16. We'll note that we had a negative base number, negative 2 over here, and a even power of 4, so we get a positive result as stated in the first point. Moving on to the next example, negative 3 to the power of 5. So again, we'll write it out in expanded form. We get negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3. So we've got 5 negative 3's written out. And again, we'll deal with the first part. Negative 3 times negative 3, 2 negatives make a positive, so we get just 9. And we'll deal with the next part as well. Same thing, negative 3 times negative 3 is 9, leaving the negative 3 on the end that we have not yet dealt with. We know that 9 times 9 is 81, again times negative 3, and then using vertical multiplication if you would like, I'm going to take a bit of a shortcut. 1 times 3 is 3, 8 times 3 is 24, and 1 is negative, 1 is positive, so the answer should be negative. Note here that the base number is negative again, and the power this time is odd, so we do get a negative number for our answer. Let's try a slightly trickier example, this time with fractions. So this time we have negative 4 fifths to the power of 3. So again, writing it out as an expansion, I know this gets tedious, but it does help us more easily follow what we're doing. This is what the question actually is saying. It's less simplified. Negative 4 fifths times negative 4 fifths times negative 4 fifths. The same rules apply as when we normally multiply fractions or when we multiply negative fractions. So again, I'll deal with just the first half. Negative 4 times negative 4 gives us positive 16. And 5 times 5, note that the denominators are both positive as well, gives us 25. Leaving that third 4 fifths on the end. We do our last step, so negative 16 times negative 4, we get negative 64. So note that one's positive, one's negative, we get a negative answer. And 25 times 5 is 125. So again, looking back at the question, we've got a negative 4 fifths as our base number, and we've got an odd power. So we do in fact get a negative result. The last example I have for you all today is, of course, a decimal. So when we multiply negative decimals by negative decimals, it's the same as when we normally multiply decimals. So I will set this one out vertically instead this time, just to review that. So negative 0.6 times negative 0.6, and we can resume with normal multiplication. So 6 times 6 is 36. We put down the 6 and we carry the 3. 0 times 6 is 0, plus 3 is 3. And then obviously we've got just a 0 there, so we don't need to continue with the multiplication. We need to make note that we have now 2 decimal points in the question, so there's 2 in the question. So we should have 2 in the answer, which means that our final answer is positive 0.36. If you're not sure whether it should be negative or positive, first you could look at the fact that we have two negatives multiplying together here to make a positive, or you could note that we've got a negative base number and an even power of 2, so that should give us a positive answer. And that's all for powers of directed numbers. So it's the same thing that we've been doing previously. We're just putting all of those skills together. Good luck with the work, guys, and let me know if you have any questions.